Would I be the a-hole for never speaking to my sister-in-law again after what she did at my daughter's wedding? Order in the court, we shall wait to hear the contacts before we make a decision. My beautiful daughter got married last weekend, and I could not have been prouder. We unexpectedly lost her dad and my beloved husband over 5 years ago, and always knew that her wedding day was gonna be a tough one. Ooh, that is tough. I'm sorry to hear that. My late husband has a sister who has always struggled to control herself emotionally, and particularly when it involves grief and loss, has been known to cause scenes. Think trying to throw yourself in the hole on top of the coffin type scenes. Did she do that at the funeral? Or just like metaphorically, are we talking about that? In the past 5+ years, I've gone out of my way to support this sister both emotionally and financially, not only because we are close, but because that's what my late husband would have done. For about the last 6 months, I've been in regular contact with her, reiterating that the wedding day is going to be hard enough without her added drama llama emotions. We love a drama llama, but not when it's our drama llama, you know? Other people's drama llama we're okay with, but not when it's galloping through our lives, you know? I make it very clear that the bride had included many personal and thoughtful touches into the day to remember her dad. E.g., she'd asked all her uncles and significant men in her life, including the groom, to wear one of his ties. Oh, that is so thoughtful, bestie. And that we above anyone were well aware of his absence on such a day. I asked sister-in-law to please just be respectful and honor the bride's wishes to not make a scene. The fact that you even have to have that disclaimer, and let me guess, even the disclaimer didn't stop her. Wedding day arrives and it was an emotional day. Honestly, weddings that involve, well, they don't involve a death, but whenever there's like a notable absence because someone who would have been there has passed away, it is just waterworks. Nobody makes a scene, but there do be crying. I went to a wedding once where the bride's brother, you know, had passed away. Obviously no one made a scene, but everybody was crying. Like, it was very, very sad and beautiful at the same time, because they did pay homage to him. You know, I didn't know him personally, and it made me feel closer to the family because they chose to make him such a big part of the day, but it was very sad. My maid of honor surprised my daughter with a small, tasteful medallion with late husband's picture on it, which we tied to her bouquet with many tears. We had lots of talks about how proud he would have been and how much he would have looked forward to seeing his baby grown up and happy, and how he would be with us even if we couldn't see him. Oh God. Getting choked up over here. I'm just a little choked up. As my baby and I stood at the end of the aisle before I walked her down, she took my hand and said, "We will not cry. Daddy would want us to be happy." And so we began our procession down the aisle toward her beautiful groom. Halfway down the aisle, we were confronted with a roadblock. My sister-in-law had reached out into the aisle holding a large frame photo montage, pictures of my late husband, including his funeral booklet. Ooh, why are we doing that? Seems a little unnecessary. It threw us both completely, and I was livid. I mean, very clearly you had plenty of things playing homage to him in the wedding. So she blocked you from walking down with this booklet. Oh, you're happy? Remember this. Oh God, I hate it when people do that. It's like they can't stand to see people happy. They need to remind them that, oh, there's just another way of shitting on your parade. We rain on parades. We don't, but it's a better image. Luckily, my love for my daughter and late husband was stronger than my anger, and we sidestepped and continued on as planned. I have since been told many people didn't even realize that there was a problem. After the ceremony, sister-in-law came up to talk to me. I discreetly but firmly told her she was way out of line and I was disgusted in her stunt. What is the point of that? Like, very clearly only you and your daughter could have seen that, and maybe people who were around you, but like, why do that? I spent the rest of the evening actively avoiding her and enjoying the moment despite this. She approached me again at the end of the night, and I again told her in no uncertain terms what I thought of her pick-me actions. With a few champagnes under my belt, I was definitely less measured than my earlier interaction. Ooh, champagne do be the truth serum. I ended it by saying I had clearly and repeatedly explained my expectations, and she had deliberately ignored those for her own wants. So here's where I may be the a-hole.
Small one.
I was going to message her and explain how much her actions upset the bride and me and how little respect she showed us. I was also going to tell her how much my late husband would have hated what she did and how much she upset his baby on her wedding day. But then I thought, why should I waste any more oxygen on this person? She didn't listen to what I said the first, second, third, 15th time I explained it to her, so why should I now need to explain it again retrospectively? My gut feeling is to now just ghost her, cut off all financial and emotional support. I'm torn. Do I try and discuss this with her, or do I cut and run? I mean, it is interesting, not only emotionally but financially support her, and she still decided to cross a boundary on a day where you really can't take it back. You deliberately went against the wishes of someone who asked you to just chill out. I would like to say that I would be the bigger person in this scenario, but I probably wouldn't. Never again is a long time. I realize stonewalling, it is a very hurtful way to go about things. Generally, I try to communicate in most situations how I feel, but if you've already communicated your expectations and she deliberately ignored those expectations and went against what you said, I would say a dash of silent treatment is in fact in order. And most certainly, cutting off financial support is also in order.
You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Am I the asshole for offering no sympathy to my husband when his dad crossed a boundary?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm currently pregnant with my second child. I found out 3 days before Christmas and told my husband the following day. Myself, excited but more than a little nervous. Big mixed bag of feelings. For this and other reasons, I asked my husband if we could keep the news between us for a while and let me process/adjust to this new reality before sharing with our friends and family. His response, I'm so excited. Can I just tell work friend? I repeated that I would prefer to keep it between us for now, at least to get through the holidays without all the focus on us. Fewer than 10 minutes later, he says, work friend is super happy for us.
Oh my God.
And I told other friend. She says, congratulations.
What's the problem?
Both?
That's
Oh
in
my
10 minutes?
Okay.
I let him know I was disappointed and I thought his behavior was super disrespectful and shitty. But whatever, it's out of my hands now. He assured me that he wasn't going to tell anyone else.
Oh my God.
Fast forward through the weeks following Christmas, during which he pestered and pressured me to tell his family members before I was ready. Again, we had his parents casually over for coffee one night and he let it slip without my consent because he's just so excited. Repeat this process with a few other friends and family members, and for whatever reason, he hasn't yet let it slip to his paternal grandparents. Because of this, his dad has been pressuring him to call them. Today, his dad gave him an ultimatum. He would say something before the end of the day if my husband didn't. Husband comes home in a super disagreeable mood and proceeds to vent to me about his dad's total lack of consideration and how angry he is over this ultimatum. I calmly listen to him and I agree it's not a nice thing to do. It's not his dad's news to share and it is inconsiderate. This is where I may be the asshole. I say, I love you, but does this maybe give you some more context for how it felt when you did the same thing to me? He then gets angrier and tells me that it's not the same situation at all. Criticizes me for making it about myself.
Oh my
says,
God.
All right.
Says I have a victim
What? Okay, this dude.
says I have a victim mindset. He just needs support from me and it's not whatever this is. I then also blew up at him, defending myself, and we've hardly spoken for the rest of the night. I can't wrap my head around wanting sympathy from me after repeatedly hurting me with almost the same behavior. But is this not the same situation? Is he right? Should I have put my own resentment aside to help him feel better? Did I selfishly make it about me? Maybe he would have made the connection without me pointing it out, or maybe he would have been more receptive if I just gave him a hug and let him calm down for a while. Am I the asshole for no longer giving support to my wife's family after I became successful with my own company, after they talked down on me? My early 30s, wife, mid-20s, grew up in a fairly poor environment. Her grandpa had money, but her mom didn't, and her sister didn't. My wife had an incredibly strong work ethic. She's probably more defined as a workaholic. When I first met her, I was in trucking, making about $50K to $70K a year. Since then, I've developed a niche for a specialty marketing field and became very good at it. All of my friends encouraged me to go into business for myself with a marketing company. My wife was fully supportive of this, even after we discussed the financial difficulties we would have for the first year or so due to a limited budget. I made sure that she knew that some months I may not get a paycheck from the business. My salary is paid monthly. Her family, however, were not. They accused me of neglecting my family, being lazy, not wanting to work, etc. They would constantly be bringing up the fact that I didn't have a job because I was always home working remote. She would defend me, but they would ignore it and continue to call me lazy and a deadbeat for putting my daughter in daycare while I worked from home. I was still driving a truck part-time to have steady and reliable income, but it was only half of what I was making in a good week. In the last year, I have grown my income from my business beyond what I was making in trucking and have very little overhead. Since we cut costs back when I first started, we realized a lot of things we were paying for we could do without or found other alternatives, and we never really added those expenses back. So it's like we have significantly more money now. I still drive a semi occasionally for a friend who owns his truck, mainly to keep my CDL active and stay knowledgeable in the industry as a fallback. Her family has taken note and they're constantly asking to go out to eat with us, hang out with us, etc., and then get mad when I never pay for the meals, the outing, the vacation, etc. Aside from my part of the tab, obviously. Looking back, I understand why they never had money. They were living well beyond their means, but if it makes them happy, then it is what it is. I let my wife do whatever she wants with her money, which sometimes includes buying stuff for her family, which I support her doing with her money if that's how she wants to spend it. But I make sure that she knows that I don't want a dime of my money going to her family since they were very unsupportive of what made us our money and would go as far as talk down on me for doing what led to our money. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after she commented on my lack of ambition?
Nope. I don't have enough ambition to look after them.
Maybe it's the ambition that's keeping her from looking after them.
I gotta go strive. I'm striving.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Poetic.
I, 26 female, work as a barista and part-time freelance illustrator. I genuinely enjoy both jobs and don't mind that my lifestyle isn't fancy. I get by, I have my own flat, and I save a little each month. My older sister, Sarah, 32 female, has always been the successful sibling. She has a corporate job, a big house, and 2 kids, 4 male and 2 female. Over the years, Sarah has made subtle comments about my life choices. She hinted that I should get a real job or suggested that I grow up and aim for something more stable. I usually brush it off because I love my work, but recently things came to a head. Sarah asked me to babysit her kids last weekend so she and her husband could go to a wedding. I agreed, thinking it would be nice to help out, but during dinner at her house the night before, she made a snarky comment saying, "It must be nice not having any responsibilities. You wouldn't understand how hard it is to balance work life and kids when you're floating through life." I was stunned. I asked her if she really thought that I was just floating through life, and she doubled down, saying she wants me to be more ambitious. I told her I wasn't comfortable helping her anymore and left. She's been texting me, calling me immature and selfish for backing out at the last minute. Our parents think I should be the bigger person and babysit because family helps each other. But I'm tired of feeling belittled. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit after her comment? Not the asshole. Sarah wants free childcare but also feels entitled to insult your life choices? Nope. You're not a backup babysitter who has to just take whatever comments she throws at you.
Yeah.
If she really values family helping each other, she should start by respecting you and your career. Backing out might have been inconvenient for her, but that's on her for assuming she could insult you and still expect your help. If she wants support, she should try some appreciation instead of acting like your life is lesser than hers. So, am I the asshole for telling my classmates that I don't want an American name?
Oh. No.
Mm-mm.
Hi, so basically I'm an Irish dude who recently moved to America for a year or so, and basically when I introduced myself to my new American classmates, they all decided that my name, Kieran, is too hard to spell/pronounce, so they all collectively decided to give me an American name. Practically everyone has started to call me Connor instead of my actual name, and it's starting to piss me off. I've told them many times I actually don't mind if they pronounce or spell or remember it wrong, just as long as they're calling me by my actual name.
Right.
Now even a few teachers are calling me Connor, and I get a little pissed off and tell everyone that if they could please just call me Kieran as polite as I possibly can. Everyone told me that I was being dramatic and have started calling me other names just to annoy me, like Caleb or Cade. Every time I bring it up wanting to be called by my actual name, they all roll their eyes and give me snarky remarks. Of course, I do like my classmates and they're all nice, but it does slightly piss me off. Am I being overdramatic or do I have a fair point?